All right. Let's get to it. Let's see. Okay, real quick. On the Coinbase thing, they say they got overwhelmed like an accidental DDoS attack. I think that's total bullshit. But we'll never know. There was a lot of people that were getting nuked on leverage. Coinbase will probably get sued for what happened, because if anybody on the institutional level took out leverage and they got blown up because of the price drop after Coinbase shut down, they're getting sued straight up. I think what Coinbase did was probably on purpose, like a circuit breaker, just to slow everything down. They'll just say, "Oh, we don't know what happened. We didn't spin up the right virtual servers to do load balancing and all that kind of stuff." I think that's mostly bullshit. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Don't take on leverage, because as someone else mentioned, there was like a 700 and change million in leverage, both short and long, that got blown up. Not good. Not good. So anyway, that's what happened there. We're going to talk about the Bitcoin halving a little bit. Well, for a lot of people that don't quite have it locked in, we'll kind of get that figured out. And it's not a conspiracy, John. It happened all the time. It happens on the NASDAQ all the time. Usually if there's a 5% move one way or another, especially down in an asset, they'll freeze the asset. They'll freeze trading. They do it all the time, circuit breaker. And in this case, I mean, is it beyond the realm of possibility? Is it beyond the realm of imagination that somebody, not Citadel, but somebody like Citadel, that thinks they know everything because they have 3 technical analysis dickbags that work in their mailroom because they can't actually manage money, put the call in and said, "This thing's about to go down. It's going down at 60K. Let's short it." And then they went in and shorted it, and it went to 64, and they got fucking obliterated. And so before it went to 70 and there was no more hedge fund, they started calling everybody they call, and then done. So I don't know. Sure seems convenient, because a $4,000 move, it didn't crash the day before when there was a $4,000 move. It didn't crash the day before when there was a $5,000 move, and yet it crashed yesterday when there was a $3,600 move. Come on, bro. Seems a little bullshitty to me. Brandon and I yesterday were looking, we'll do some more math tomorrow, but we were looking at the trying to get net inflow figures. And I know there was a lot of trading in and around those assets. Those will clear for trade. The sales that occurred in the ETF, the net inflow numbers, we probably get maybe tonight for tomorrow or something like that, I think. So we'll see. I think it's going to be big net inflows. I think if they have to go to the market and buy tomorrow, then Bitcoin's going to do some crazy stuff. And then we'll have more circuit breakers. So who knows? Until we have those the true net inflow numbers, we can't really gauge what they'll have to do as they go to the market and buy. And they're going to have to pretty much hit the bid on the retail side in order to fulfill those tokens, those Bitcoin. So that could be pretty cool. So we'll see. I mean, we could be, it's not outside the realm of possibility that you're looking at a 70K Bitcoin by Monday. It could also be languishing at 55. Remember, it started the week at 51 and change. So, yeah, everything's working fine until the price of Bitcoin goes up. And it's funny that it's only Bitcoin. And then Coinbase was like, no, we're having problems with with transactions clearing and Ethereum. Okay, that has nothing to do with Bitcoin. Oh, no, well, the problem is bullshit. The problem is that they kind of quasi, this is why I know Coinbase is not going out of business, because they basically quasi work for the regulators. I think Coinbase, no, I don't think anything happened that's not safe. Remember, if someone unplugs the power at your house, does that have anything to do with your bank account? Like, think about this. You guys got to separate these things out in your minds. No. If your neighbor down the street takes up basket weaving, does that change your golf game? No. It makes no difference. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I had it, if you were waiting to pay rent or something like that yesterday, yeah, I mean, we're taking on another vehicle today for the company, so we'll see. Like, it didn't affect our life. If you have money in the crypto space that you shouldn't have in there, that's different. But these kind of things are going to happen a lot. I got so many emails. Oh my God, my money's gone. I'm like, quit being a fucking rookie. Yeah, Coinbase didn't just rug pull everyone's money. Like, come on, let's have some adult time in here, fellas and felons. You like this new background, this new kind of beachy background? Anyway, there we go. Okay, which vehicle? Well, that's not something we should talk about. But it is a good one. It's one I've had my eye on for a while. I'll give you a hint. It's the most silent car in the world as far as the interior. That's the hint. Okay. Other news. Many of you saw the Rejuve.bio equity sale, which I think is absolute bullshit. If you failed when you launch your token, and you failed to create utility for the token, and you failed to move the token, and you failed to move the needle. Now, it's cool. They have a great app. It is, the Rejuve app is a great app. It's cool. It's very functional. It does really cool things. But they've already failed. They didn't go look for equity. They came to the crypto market. They got a bunch of spammy investors to go to ape into their stuff. And then they shit the bed with the token. Why on earth, now they're going to go back and ask you to buy their equity, something that's not liquid? And then what do you want to do? Tokenize their, like, come on, man. So I think that's quite sketch. I mean, maybe they have some cool IP or something. And that just shows you again why a token in many cases is so useless, because you could see the equity in that project actually go up and do well, and the token is 2 cents. The token has no utility. That's the problem. There's no use utility. There's definitely not wide scale adoption. It just doesn't pass muster. Yeah, and that's another thing. The Rejuve team, they reached out to me one time asking for money. And I'm going to tell you a secret. The reason I didn't give them money is I asked their CEO, like, directly, like, what is the token needed for? And I heard more, I thought she was testifying in front of Congress about her wardrobe or something. It was awful. And she's a really smart person, Jasmine. But there's no use in utility for the token. There's no use in utility for the token. You can't just, like, why token matters. So one fail is all you get as far as my money goes. They never even reached out to me on this one. Like, I got an email. Normally I get a little message and a phone call. Hey, do you want to meet with these people? Do you want to talk? But I think when I told them no, so there's been a few projects that we passed on. We passed on Rejuve and we passed on Zarka, which I don't even know if that project is still going. It may be dead in the water. But anyway, who knows? So there's that. Again, none of this is investment advice. This is just a little bit of my mindset as I look at these things. And I mean, still talking about the crash yesterday. I know for a fact, Catherine, you did not live. You didn't go through 2017. This happened every week. I mean, every week this happened, to a point where it was a joke. They're like, You can tell when the price of a token's going up because there'll be a crash on Coinbase and you won't be able to trade it. So I wouldn't stress about it. Anyway, and yeah, well, you know what it is? Is like intelligence is usually situational specific. This is the same thing as muscle. Like when you're working out at the gym, and you're like, well, I'm really good at soccer, so I should be good in the gym. No, not. Matter of fact, even easier. I'm really good at ballet, therefore I should be good at soccer. I'm really good at soccer, therefore I should be good at basketball. No, you'll have general fitness, but cardiac activity is sport and muscle specific. And it's the same in intellect, right? Like you can be intellectually very astute at certain areas and you hyper focus. And then in other things, you don't get it. You know, you can't tie your shoes. You can't walk in a straight line, but you can like untangle folded, proteins, 64 layers deep, like in your brain while you walk. You'll get hit by a car, but you'll be unfolding proteins. So like, yes. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on that. For those of you that got that email. Let me look really quick. Hypercycle. I'm very curious about the price of Hypercycle as we approach the compute era when all those tokens leave circulation. It's going to be juicy, my friends. 75 cents. Okay. 24.25. Oh, that's cool. So we're getting there. So, and again, at 3,000 NFTs, it would be, again, right now, everything that Node Market collects, every penny goes towards the NFT holders. However, at 3,000, you would, once that ends, maybe that's a year from now or whatever, once that 100% phase era rolls out, then we would be right now at 22%, and then it'd be at 3,000 be 23%, which is still, pretty good, because if these, if things keep going the way they're going, because think about this, we're about to unleash the secondary markets for node licenses. So you have node licenses, maybe they're doing all this or that or tilling. I think there's a fair amount of people that will just till their licenses, bring them up to a certain point, and just flip them to people that might be coming into space and they want nodes that have a good tilling history that are that much closer to a split. So node farmers, I had brought this idea up a while ago and most people thought it was stupid, but I don't think it's stupid. I think it's a good idea. Node farmers. Be a node farmer. Okay. Pokemon releasing digital card using NFT tech. I think it's really good. They waited as NFTs, a dirty word. Yeah, I mean, NFTs publicly have a bad name, but non-fungibility is incredibly valuable. Right. Legal documents, medical documents, mortgage documents, land rights, all that kind of stuff. Having a digital proof, that's all it is a original digital verifiable proof. But yeah, NFT got spammy and bullshitty. This is today decaf, because I have this theory that I don't even like. I don't think that it's the caffeine that I'm into. I don't know what it is exactly that I like about coffee other than the sweet taste, because I put all the cream in it. I think that's probably what's going on. So anyway. So there we go. Oh man, I splashed some coffee on the screen, on my dirty little screen. And I've been milking this Apple iPad, MacBook Air for like 3 or 4 years. It's tiny. It may be time. It may be time to upgrade, but I try to get every last just drop of juice as I can out of these MacBooks. They're so great. Anyway, right, secure and trusted deep. Matter of fact, everybody right now who's here, we got 183 people. I want to see everybody's first thought about what would be a good use of non-fungible token, of an original, verifiable digital proof of ... Everybody give me at least one example. Unless you're driving. Speeding tickets is yours. Everybody who's driving, Speeding tickets. Deeds, yeah. Real estate. So let's go through some of these. Deeds, mortgage, real estate, car title, birth certificate. Yeah, like these things are all good ones. Rose, you son of a bitch. Yes, it's wicked too. I thought about for you guys doing a walkthrough. We have out in the um, Eric brought his Cullinan. He's got a Black Series Cullinan. It's so dope. I'm not a big fan of the Rolls Royce SUVs because they just look weird. But man, you cannot deny the experience on the inside of those things. It's like royalty. Well, it is. That's what. Yeah. Anyway, medical records, driver's license. Yeah, driver's license would be a good one. You should just have it on your phone. Why do I have a stupid piece of plastic? That's so dumb. Property deeds, house, yes. Art, good. Real estate, medical records, legal docs. Yeah, node market. That's right. That's right. Being able to purchase a house. That's right. Like all the home and title and car. Like, yeah, good one, Sean. That kind of sums up what Catherine was saying too. Tickets for sporting events. You guys get it. I mean, this should seem pretty obvious, right? So there are a lot of uses for non-fungibility. Yeah, I mean, there should be a copy of your medical records and your counterindications with you. I know people are not like this, but on a chip that's in your hand or something, so that if you fall into unconsciousness and they have to triage you, they can scan you and they can know, oh, don't give him epinephrine, he'll die, or don't give him diazepam. Like that would be incredibly important. And yes, everybody would say, oh, they're trying to monitor you. Guess what? Look up. There's satellites everywhere. They already know everything you're doing all the time. So let's get past all that. Get past all that conspiracy stuff. Let's just be humans. Anyway, medical records and a smart ring, unless your finger gets cut off. Yeah, unless you get your fingers lopped off, in which case, good luck. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, I think non-fungibility is very valuable. And but yes, it got a spammy name. I still have my Beeple. I'm very proud of that. It cost me a lot of money. I will never get it back out of it, but I wouldn't sell it anyway because it was representative. It represents a time in, it represented that kind of whole NFT crazy time, which was fun. And even if we end up losing, I got my ass kicked because I'm good at investing. I'm not good at investing in art, as it turns out. But I still have them all. You don't lose. And if with artwork, every time you look at it, you get value. And I have my Beeple set up in the theater, and I'm going to start doing all sorts of. Anyway, whatever. So I saw a drone fly by your window. Really? You probably saw a plane. I saw a drone. Although I do have a neighbor with a drone. It's pretty cool. Chuck. Anyway. Okay, we're going to talk about the halving because I think it's important. I did talk to the guys from Bad Radio yesterday, Dan McDowell and Blake and Jake and all those guys. We did a show, which I think it would go out tomorrow. Anyway, that'll be kind of fun. I'll try to get links and all that kind of stuff for that. If I get some time, I'm trying to watch these videos to see how people do videos that talk about cars and like the little knickknacks. I thought the real test of a car would be if it's quiet enough that we could do the show inside the car while driving. We'll see. I don't know if we can engineer this. Maybe I'll get Eric to drive and I'll whatever. It was cool. Yesterday, Eric was flying. Because we drive LA, we have a plane, and he flew by the house like close enough that we could read the numbers off the tail fin. It was pretty funny. We were all waving, hey. Okay. No, I'm not outside actually. Here, I'll show you. I'm inside. See, I'm at the dining room table. I'm chilling. That's normally the angle you guys get. See my plants? I got plants. Oxygen. Yeah. They're all up on the table. Why? Because Kitty tears them all to ribbons. Anyway, yeah. So I'm here I'm just at the edge of the table. I just thought this would be a cool. I thought it'd be a cool angle for today. Get some trees, get a little nature in there. Eric is my partner, and he's the main partner of Drive LA, which is the exotic car rental company. It's kind of a lifestyle company, but yeah. Okay. And how's Kitty? Kitty's big. Like that son of a gun. He was tearing stuff up earlier, and I thought it was my buddy Eric. Eric's selling his house, so he's staying here for a few days. And I was like, well, certainly that's a human doing that damage, tearing things apart. Nope. No, that was Kitty. That was Kitty. Yeah. Okay. So we're going to talk about the halving. This way, at least it's square in everyone's mind. If you guys have any questions, we'll take a 2-minute look at the markets, but we're not going to get into any kind of price stuff. That's all digital investor stuff, and that's all behind the wall stuff. But we could talk some theory. So let's do a look at the markets for the theory. So overall market cap, 2.3 trillion. It's not bad. And Bitcoin actually just started kind of quieting down just now. It had been doing, let me go to the 24-hour. It just was coming down because it was up in the 63s even just an hour ago. So it's just starting to calm down, which is good because remember, it was like 57 yesterday morning. So this is still a pretty big move. So yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Let's take a more broad look. Ethereum was over 3,500 for a while this morning. Still pretty good. XRP having a decent little whatever. Cardano was almost 70 cents. I think I actually saw it at 70 cents. So things are coming down off their highs. I don't know if that has anything to do with the kind of like Americans waking up. I don't think Americans determine the markets, but on Bitcoin, probably it's a lot of that just because of the ETF thing. VeChain was over 5 cents. It's calmed down. So things have started to calm down, which is good. You don't want straight arrows upward with no retrace. You gotta calm down. Fetch, oh God, for all of you that sold on, for all of you that listen to Tika. Oh God, that guy should be in prison, man. Anyway, Arweave, it got up to $32 yesterday, but it's just rocketing. For those of you that were in there when we told you to get on in there, you nailed it. Okay, AGIX kind of languishing around 70 cents. I say languishing. It came up 152% last month through what I consider to be an inorganic, as in not real pump. It was pumped by people because pumps run their steam. Money runs out. That's the end of it. And there you go. Now, whether that pump could have created some sustained run, I don't know. I mean, they're having the AGI conference, and the token has just gone flat to downward since then. So they pumped it into the conference, is what it looks like. So what would I do if I was those guys? I'd go find another SNet asset that's low liquid, traded by sketchy individuals, and I'd probably pump that. So what does that mean? Well, you can kind of work that out on your own. And if you're a digital investor, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Some ways I think you can play that. Because I think there's a trade setting up because of other people's scrupulous behavior. Ocean data, yes. It's consistent. It's not like blowing anyone's eardrums apart, but it's great. We started looking at that at 17 cents. If you guys remember, so it's not terrible. You're not gonna go broke with a 6x or a 5x. Harmony One it's performing pretty good considering where we were picking it up in the doldrums. And I think, if anything, the terribleness of the fee paradox at Ethereum should tell you that layer 2s have value. And this is another layer 2. There's going to be a hunt for layer 2s, and I think people will look for low market cap layer 2s. StoreJ doing okay. Again, data more on the enterprise side. I guess they've been talking about the Sentience wallet, but I don't think anybody really cares. Sophia's not doing anything in my mind until they do their formal launch, which is I think that's still in June. That's obviously their team. They'll figure all that out, but I think that's in June. And then I think you're going to see this thing do quite well for some amount of time. I don't imagine it to be sustained. So just whatever. Singularity DAO, cool company, cool ideas, no use of the token, and they just don't seem to get hardware. Well, they don't get their software aligned with their hardware. Let's say that. And they don't get code pushes, and they don't meet deadlines, and they do take long vacations. So yeah, Rejuve. Well, we already know the garbage that is Rejuve. Hey, they're doing a launch equity raise. Oh, they're down 17%. Wow, the market's really accepted that piece of news. NewNet, 6 cents. There's nothing new about NewNet. That's probably the issue. And then Hypercycle floating between 73, 75 cents. The problem is these prices are spasmodic. They're all over the place because you go here and you say, okay, cool. This is just a few sales. Look, this is only 24 hours. So it was at 80 cents and now it's at 73 cents. That's all in the space of a day. And you go and look, 154,000. That is nothing. I mean, nothing. That's a down payment on a nice car. So anyway, there's not a lot of exchange activity. However, there is, there's some decent exchange activity. It's kind of quiet yesterday, wasn't it? But just across node market, as you can see, there's been, almost 2.3 million just in Hypercycle activity. That's kind of cool. Okay. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's the kind of the state of the state. Ethereum is still just a spammy damn nightmare. You kind of hope that things quiet down, settle down. I think tomorrow is going to be a crazy day, but we'll have more from Brandon. We'll have more from Brandon on that then. And so let's go back to here. Yay, we can have our spinning happiness. Yay. And then let's talk. Let's do a little class. Let's talk about the halving, if we should. Let me get to a better screen. I'll go here for a second. Hold on. Here, I want a cool screen. Oh, that's cool. Do something real quick. I have my little notes because there's some details of the halving I want to make sure I get right, especially because you have a lot of people that are really trying to kind of grasp this as we move forward. We'll go here. If you're not a digital investor, you should be. Okay, we'll put this here. Yeah, and let's get some class in session.
Hello. You're late.
You're bad at math, but I'm giving you an A+ in confidence.
Just doing what I gotta do.
Extra credit.
Okay, so what's going on? Let's talk halving. Matter of fact, why don't I even do a banner? I'm going to do a halving banner. Hold on. This is going to be great. The halving explained. Okay, so what's going on with the halving? You future digital investors, as we dive into the topic of the halving, it kind of merges technology, economics, a bit of old school kind of mystery, especially since a lot of people are grappling with how Bitcoin works. But the Bitcoin halving, not like I have, halving, like to have, to cut in half. So imagine you're playing a video game where the amount of gold, digital gold, that you get for completing tasks is suddenly cut in half every few years. Every 4 years, instead of making 50 pieces of gold for each task, you then get 25. And then 4 years later, you go from 25 to 12 and a half. And then 4 years later, you go down to 6.25. And then you go down to 3.125. You see where this is going? So this is what happens in the Bitcoin ecosystem. And the halving is an event that occurs approximately every 4 years. It's not perfectly 4 years because remember, every block time, you can be 10 minutes and 1 second. It can be 9 minutes and 59 seconds. So, but approximately every 4 years. And what this does is it reduces the rewards that miners are receiving for verifying transactions. It cuts those rewards in half. You say, okay, who cares? Well, there's a couple of reasons for this. It was designed to control the supply of Bitcoin, right? Making it more scarce over time as far as the emanations of new Bitcoin. Remember, the total cap is 21 million, but it's how we get to that 21 million. It's a diminishing return function. So Bitcoin becomes more scarce over time, which makes it potentially more valuable. But there's a lot that goes on at the mining level as far as technology and hardware that can become quite dramatic. So think of this like we're always thinking in game theory terms. So think of this as a game where the rules are designed to make the prize more desirable because it's more difficult to get to every 4 years. There's less prizes, then less prizes. So let's go and talk history for a moment. Since Bitcoin's inception, there have been several halving events. And interestingly, each one has been followed by a pretty significant amount of excitement, enthusiasm, and like public woo-woo, and then Bitcoin's price goes up. So this pattern has led to speculation, because all we have is speculation, and some anticipation around not only the halving event, but when is it priced in? When does it take effect? When do we see the follow-on, the knock-on effects of that reduced supply in the mining community? And so you think, well, okay, but why would I even care? Well, beyond the economics and the investment potential, Bitcoin is becoming a significant player in the digital world. I mean, it's obviously becoming a big player in the kind of organized financialization of everything world. It's part of Wall Street now. So it's being adopted by companies and investors as a form of like digital gold, digital treasury function. Some governments are taking on Bitcoin as a treasury function. New ETFs are spinning up. ETFs have to own Bitcoin. So it's securing the asset as this kind of play as gold 2.0, right? Now, the technology behind Bitcoin is evolving through Bitcoin improvement proposals, but the emanation schedule of the tokens does not change. And so this makes it both more accessible to people that want to enter the mining community. It also makes it more competitive, which could make it less accessible because then there's a financial bar to entry. The machines that worked for mining up until this April 18th or so may not be capable of mining afterwards. They may be prohibitively expensive. So for instance, let's say you're making 10% on your total investment by mining Bitcoin right now. You have a machine, that machine makes 10%. That machine becomes half as useful after the halving, right? Because now there's only half the reward. It doesn't mean it could fall, depending on the equipment, it could fall somewhere between now your 10% is 5%, or now your 10% is negative 40%. It's not, so we don't know exactly, but the mining concern, because the fact that they have to, they're constantly requiring computational power. They constantly have to upgrade their hardware to compete with everyone else. So the halving reduces the rewards they're getting paid. So the equipment that they're running, if they're barely breaking even, they're going to have to unplug all that stuff or go do something else, like do transactions for Hypercycle. What? But anyway, a lot of Bitcoin mining facilities are not going to make the cut unless the price of Bitcoin is substantially higher. And I don't know what the exact number is that would grab the most, kind of the biggest majority of that ecosystem. But my guess is you're going to need a $80 to $90,000 Bitcoin for most of the people that are in business right now to stay in business. We get to April 18th and we're not there. A ton of people are going to pull the plug on their rigs. So the increase in Bitcoin's value would would kind of push that off a little bit. And imagine you own a bunch of hardware. You own an old computer, or older. Old in crypto terms is like last year. So you own a year-old computer, and you're making a little bit of money. You're making a little bit of money, but the token hasn't quite run up enough. The halving occurs. Now you're making half that little bit of money. You no longer have. You're not bringing in enough money to keep the lights on, to have all your manpower, to upgrade the technology. You have to upgrade that hardware when everyone else upgrades, or it's the same difference. You're on bad equipment and everybody else is winning blocks and you are not. So Bitcoin's value has to increase substantially to make it game theoretically financially viable for you to stay in the market as a miner. And if that technology doesn't come, and also it's disproportionate. Those who have more money can buy more tech. They can buy more gear. That the people at Bitmain, when they create new equipment, they're mining against you for months during their testing phase. When they're done mining against you, then they sell you the upgrade while they work on their next batch of rigs. So, Bitcoin's not without its faults. Anyway, to wrap up, Bitcoin halving is more than some kind of technical date. It is a milestone that reflects the growing importance and complexity of all these digital currencies, especially Bitcoin. It highlights a weird situation where those incentivized to participate in the network could get financially pushed to the side, relegated to the sidelines, obsoleted, so to speak. And if you understand these events, you can at least wrap your mind around what's going to happen. It helps us maybe grasp the broader trends that shape the Bitcoin economy. So now you have the ETFs gobbling up Bitcoin, and you have a bunch of miners that might have to shut off their rigs, depending on the price. They shut off the rigs for at least a 2-week period. The competition becomes much less. Who knows what that does to the price? I mean, there's a lot of moving pieces. There's a lot of gears. So let's watch Bitcoin. Let's watch as we approach the halving. It's impossible to predict the price with any accuracy. I thought this is where we would be, 60s. I thought this is where we would be at the halving. My guess is that's different. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But anyway, yeah. So that's kind of my take on what's going on with the halving. It's a big deal. It's a big technical deal. That's a good example, Donna. Yeah, like with the government. But imagine if the government doubled the minimum wage. How many businesses would be able to keep paying? Hiring would go to dust. Anyway. Wait, the most common is that the price will drop. Price will drop of what? Bitcoin? No. You got the wrong thing out of that. Historically, with the halving, the price of Bitcoin has gone anywhere from 2 to 28x. Yeah, so maybe I didn't word my thoughts right. Yeah, but no, no one knows what the price is going to do, but assumptively, up is the more likely outcome. Although my speculation was this is where we would be at the halving, and we're not even in March. We still have March, half April. We got six weeks. 6 weeks is not much. Yeah, I think a lot of miners are going to switch to AI compute, Joe. At least I hope they do. Yeah. Well, Howard, I hope you're good, buddy. There's plenty of homes here in California. You don't have to stay there. 49 days left. Okay, yes. The Phil, should this be the new thing that we track? Hold on, let me change the banner. I'm going to put that in there, and then maybe we'll keep remembering it. Let me see. Let's do that. 49 days to the halving. Do you guys remember? Do you guys remember the dickening? And it's when the guy's gone now. The Norton guy, the guy that died in the Spanish prison under really suspicious circumstances. Do you remember when they were doing the dickening? Because he said if Bitcoin's not $1 million by this date, he would eat his, they called it the dickening, and they had a countdown to the dickening. Oh God, the internet can be so cruel. So yeah, anyway, we'll call it a day. Oh, that's pretty good. You're going to hit your happiness at 5.5x. You're going to get that. You're going to get little bites. You're going to get probably a 3x of that. Well, I can't speculate. I think you're going to be just fine. I think everybody who stays the course and has a rules-based approach to entering and exiting is going to do just fine. That's all you can do, man. All you can do is just do just fine. All right. And on that note, stay in school, don't do drugs, don't do anything. My poor insolvent drunk, strung out on meth grandmother wouldn't do. If you're not a digital investor, become a digital investor. If you're a digital investor and you're accredited, well then, bro, become a private client. You want first access to stuff? Go and get it. We I don't want to say numbers, but if I said 300 million, I wouldn't be wrong. That's about how much value we've generated. About 300. Well, let's see. Yeah, about 350 million. Just shy of 350 for that group, myself included. So I ain't a hater, bro. Anyway, be good. Who knows if Brandon's wearing a tank top or not? We can only assume that he is, and that's all we have. All we have is our assumptions.